Hello everyone, this is Mani Karthik here. Welcome to another episode of Blogging 101. In this series, I teach you how to get started with blogging the way I did. And I'll be sharing my experiences so you don't have to make those mistakes when you start blogging. This is the third video in the series. In the first two videos, we talked about how to find a good domain name and also how to find a good host for your blog. So if you haven't checked out those videos, make sure you do. The link will be somewhere here on the I button. And if you have, once you finish it out, come back to this video and we'll get ahead. Awesome. So let's get started. So in this video, we talk about how to find a good theme or template for your WordPress blog. Okay, so a couple of things before we start out. Like typical websites, for WordPress blogs, you don't need a designer or a developer because everything is coming pre-installed in your WordPress hosting service. So if you haven't checked out or bought a WordPress hosting service, make sure you do. I do have some recommendations in the video before this video, in the second of the series, in which basically once you buy that host, you would get a WordPress pre-installed host. What that means is you just have to click a few buttons, give in a few information, and your blog is ready. But the thing is, when you have your default blog ready, it would have a theme that comes with it, which is kind of very basic theme. It's very naked. It's very good actually, but it's just that because it comes with the package, everybody might use it, and using that theme might look like a very amateurish thing to do on your blog. So in order to bring some exclusivity and some brandability into your blog, you need to get a new theme. So if you're getting a new theme, basically you buy the theme or you get a free theme and you just install it into the the backend, and you would have the new theme all over your blog, just like putting a dress on to your blog. It's simple as that. You don't have to tweak or find colors or do anything of that sort. It's so much easy on WordPress blogs. Now there are two ways you can get themes or templates. One is you can get free themes, where there are a lot of people who are giving away a lot of free themes for WordPress. You just have to go there, get the package, download it, and upload it into the backend. I can send you some links on how to do that from the backend. But there are a couple of things you have to remember when you buy a free theme. Number one is that nothing is free. There is no free lunch, as they say. So whoever is giving out free themes will have a few conditions for you. And one of the most common conditions is that they might add a backlink to one of the websites that they prefer. It could be their website, their developer's website, or maybe someone else. And typically what happens is this link might be hidden in a code in the theme files that if you're a newbie, if you're not very much into coding and stuff, you may not know where to change the code to change the link or to delete that link. So when you use the theme, what happens is that this link will remain on your blog. It might be on the sidebar, it might be on the footer, somewhere, and it might most likely be hidden. So what happens is, if you have hidden links like that, or if you're linking to a website that you don't trust or you don't know of or you don't have any control of, when Google comes to know about this, they might, I wouldn't say penalize, but it might come up as a bad thing for your blog. So I would avoid getting free themes that has a backlink to it. Now, it's unfortunate some of the times what happens is they don't tell you upfront that there is a link. All you can do is check out the reviews, see if people have commented about it or something like that before you actually download and install a theme, because the code might be hidden somewhere and it will be very hard for you to change that code once you have started using the theme. The other thing that you have to really note when downloading a free theme is that make sure that there are no malicious code in the theme. And what is a malicious code? Any kind of code that might compromise your website or make it prone to hacking at some point of time. There's one way to find this out. Once you install the theme or try it out on a dummy site or have a URL to a demo URL to another website, maybe the demo theme itself from the developer. What you need to do is take that URL and put it onto a virus scanning tool where it'll check for malicious code in that theme. And make sure that there are no malicious codes or any sort of threats detected with these tools before you actually install it on your blog. Because once you install it, it might stay there even if you remove that theme. So be very careful about that. In the description, I'll add a few links where you can scan your website or those demo URLs for viruses. So you can check out those tools. The next option for you is to buy a theme, a WordPress theme. There are a lot of websites like Theme Forest and many other, established, reputed developers who give away themes for a price. Typically it comes about some $10 to $50 in that range, depending on how many features you need. The good thing about paid or premium themes is that most of these are well coded. There won't be any malicious code. It'll be super tight, optimized code, the CSS and all that stuff that goes into it. And you can pretty much safely assume that your website is secure and safe when you're using these themes. This may not be the case with the free themes. But make sure that you look at the reviews of the vendor or developer who's giving out this theme. On Theme Forest, you can check out the reviews and comment section, which will give you a good idea about how good or bad this theme is, or if it is lacking any features or not. And you can always check out what features you need and buy a theme accordingly. Sometimes what happens is it comes with most of these themes comes with a lot of features, some default plugins, and it would most likely have a lot of advanced features covered because the developers and designers behind these theme sets actually put in a lot of work to make sure that these themes actually fit a larger audience. So there's a high chance that you might actually be buying a very good theme if you put in some money. And like I mentioned, it can go from like $10 to $50. But it's totally up to you to get started. If you're not willing to pay money, you can always go for the free themes. You can go to the WordPress theme directory where there are a lot of themes. Make sure that you test them out really well, install it on a dummy site or even your actual site and test it out, as in go to the different pages, go to the different archives, put in some dummy content, see how the text is formatted, etc., etc. Now, we discussed about two different sources where you can buy or get free themes from. Now, there are a couple of very, very important things that you have to keep in mind when buying themes or when buying WordPress themes. Number one is make sure that your theme is responsive. Responsive means it has to work on computer, tablets, mobile phones, etc. Basically on all kinds of devices, even TVs for that matter. These days they're getting a lot in popularity. So basically what that means is, because the users access your website from different platforms and you can't really control that, what happens is if you have a theme that is built only for desktop, which is a wider screen, if the user load it up on their mobile phone, it might appear as broken. It's not compatible for the mobile phones. So then what happens is Google and Yahoo and other search engines may discredit your blog, because what happens is today Google has openly declared that it prefers a mobile first index. What that means is it prefers websites that are optimized or which are mobile friendly to be shown on their search results as opposed to other websites. So make sure that the theme that you buy or get for free is responsive and can be loaded on every possible device without a problem. So that's number one priority. Number two is that make sure that your theme is SEO compatible. What that means is make sure that it has the page titles available, the meta descriptions, the linkings, all that stuff is taken care of. These days it comes as default for all, for paid themes for sure. For free themes it might be an issue, but just cross-check or double-check that before you actually use the theme. Make sure that the SEO features are available. The third and most important thing is make sure that you have a good UI or user interface. What that means is make sure the text on your single post is not too crowded. Make sure that anyone can read it. Even people with reading disabilities or difficulties can read it. The elements are not too close to each other and things like that. There's a tool from Google called Google's mobile friendly test tool, where you can punch in the URL and it will check or scan the whole code and tell you whether or not your blog is mobile friendly and has a good UI and etc., or if there is anything problem that it thinks you should fix before going live. So use that tool. I'll add the link in the description. But these are two main things that you have to check when getting a new theme for your blog. Now there you have it, the basics of how to choose a good theme. But don't take my word for it. If you think that there is a good theme that looks well, and if you click around and move around and navigate, it's easy to navigate, and everything looks better. It actually depends on the audience. If your audience is very youth oriented, then you could go for something bright and stuff like that actually they like. Or if your website is talking about a little bit more serious things, then the colors could tone down, or the UI could be a little bit more serious and stuff like that. These are aesthetic things that you can take a call on. I don't have to tell you what to do or what is good for you. You should know your audience and choose a theme or template accordingly. That's what actually matters. And make sure that you get a lot of feedback from your users. Ask your friends, ask your family members, ask your colleagues, what do they think about the theme. Ask them to check it out, click around and see if they can navigate well, if there are the proper elements out there that they expect in a standard website. And if it's not there, then keep experimenting and changing themes. But otherwise, this is a good way to make sure that you have a very good website. Get a free theme, but make sure you remember those things I mentioned, or get a paid theme, and make sure your website or blog looks really professional. See you in the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.